Worksheet 10, stems. Stems, a vocabulary word we need to know, all of the black words like this we need to know, are used to help determine what rhythmic value a note will have. By adding a stem to an open note head, you can change the value of a note from a whole note, which gets 4 beats, to a half note, which gets 2 beats. It is important to draw stems on the proper side of the note head and draw them in the proper direction. So 2 things to worry about: the proper side and the proper direction. Notes that appear on or above the middle staff line have downward stems drawn on the left side of the note head. So that would be this half. You notice every stem goes down. Notice that they're also on the left side. So from the third line and above, and this would include ledger lines, meaning notes above the staff, you want to draw them in towards the staff, basically. So from the third line and above, left side going down. Notes that appear below the middle staff line have upward stems drawn on the right side of the note head. There you go. So on this side, from the second space and below, the stem is on the right side, going up on every one of them. So you could use that as your key or your guide to figure these out. If you're in jazz band and you're asked to write solos, you need to know this, because I'm going to bust you if you do not write it the correct way. Number 1, practice drawing stems by adding the proper stem to each note head. First one, piece of cake. We know they go up because it's below the second space. This one happens to be above, on or above the third line, so it's going to go down. So I'm going to recommend this. This will make this easy for you. Every one of these has a stem. If it's above here, from here on, either in the middle or above, then it goes like this: left side, down. Conversely, any note second space and below, it's going to be on the right side going up. There you go. Now the actual length of these stems, if you want to be super picky, it's about 3 spaces or 3 ledger lines, and you can see that looking at these. 1, 2, 3. Starting at the bottom of the note head. Put a check here next to number 1. I'm not going to be that picky. I'm just going to see that you put a stem on it. Number 2, always using your key up here. Practice drawing stems by adding the proper stem to each note head. So exactly like number 1, but they have a lot more of them. So let's go ahead and do everyone that should go down and on the left side first. So we're going to look for anything third line and above. That includes ledger lines, really high notes. You're a flute player, you're used to this. There you go. So that whole half was done. That must mean that these guys are second space and below. So they're going to go on the right side up. There you go. Put a check here. Now we're getting to the point where we can actually write our own music. We'll do the same in percussion ensemble. Sometimes I'll ask you to write some rhythms. Number 3, some of these stems are drawn incorrectly. Circle the incorrect stems. Okay. Well, let's start by looking for all the ones that should be down and to the left. So that would be third space and above. This one should be down and to the left. Down and to the left. Uh-oh. It's on the wrong side of the note head. Wrong side of the note head. And this is on, this one's really bad. Okay, and we're only doing the ones that need to go down and to the left. That's okay, okay. Nope. It's on the wrong side of the note head. There you go. And those are things that I would bust you on as well. Okay? Now we're also going to look for the ones that should be on the right side of the note head and up. So that would be second space. Yes, yes, no. And you can tell how weird this looks. It just looks lonely. What's wrong with me? Well, you're on the wrong side of the note head and you're facing down and you should be facing up. Okay, here's another one. So we actually had more wrong in here than we had right. We had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 that were wrong in here. Put a check there. And I see that all the time when you guys start writing music, and it drives me crazy. So the stems need to go on the right side. Either left and down, or right and up. And you need to understand where it is on the staff. And that would go for treble and bass clef. You'll notice all of our examples are going back and forth. It doesn't matter if it's treble clef or bass clef. It's on a staff, period. The line goes in a different direction based on if it's on the second space and below or the third line and above. Number 4. Some of these stems are drawn incorrectly. Circle the correct stems. Incorrect stems. So just like the last one, we're looking for the bad ones. So this one's a bass clef example. I could already tell that one's going to be bad, but we're going to look for any of the ones that should be, once again, on the third line and above, should be on the left facing down. So let's go ahead and do that first. Left facing down, yes. Left facing down, yes. That's below, so we don't worry about it. Left facing down. Nope, it's facing up, so this one's wrong. Left facing down, yes. Left facing down, yes, 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 yes. No. Circle that one. Okay, now we're going to look for any of the ones that are on the second space and below. They should be on the right facing up. So let's come back here. Well, that one's not on the right, but it is facing up. Not on the right, but it is facing up. Not on the right, it is facing up. On the right and facing up. There we go. We got one that's right. And I'm scanning, scanning. Here we go. Right here. On the right and facing up. So on this one, we only had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 that looked wrong. Error detection, as we call it. Put a check there. Number 5. Some of these notes are missing stems. Add stems where needed. Make sure that each measure has 4 beats. So we're basically going to complete the measure. Well, the way we're going to have to do that is write your numbers first. We know this is going to be 1, 2. So we need something that will be 3-4. Maybe a half rest. Make sure your stem goes up and to the right because it's on the second space or below. Okay, we know this would be 1. This is a filled-in note head, so it must be a quarter note. 2, and then we have to complete this measure, 3-, which would be a half note, since it's below the second space, on the right side facing up. Well, looks like we got 3 different things in here, so this must be a half note that we're going to need. And since it's on the second space or below, once again, on the right side facing up. And the last measure is fine. We don't need to do anything, but to stay consistent, we're just going to put our dashes here. There you go. Piece of cake. Put a check here next to number 5. Number 6. Some of these notes are missing stems. Add stems where needed. Make sure each measure has 4 beats. So exactly like number 5, but now bass clef, and it doesn't matter if it's treble or bass clef. So this one's really high. We know it's going to be 1, probably going to 2, because this is going to be a quarter and a quarter note to complete the measure. All stems on the third line or above, which are these, need to be facing down and to the left. Boy, that was easy. Okay, the next one. We know we're going to need 2 half notes here. So I'm going to draw my numbers. There you go. Next one, we've got quarter note on beat 2, and then we're going to use a half note. Now it's on the third line and above, so it's going to be on the left facing down. And the last one is complete, so we don't need to do anything here. No stems required for a whole note. It completes a measure. Put a check next to number 6, and we are done with that worksheet.